Qualification match number 1, which contains ships Skyger Superior L. That was an acronym for something. Yeah, the hunt for Red Octopus, Ignorance is Wisdom, Fishy Fish, Riverhawk, and Whiteout. Okay, let's get that queued up and ready for action. So on the Red Alliance, we have... Nope. On the Red Alliance, we have you. We've got you. You don't change in color at all, nice. Ignorance is Wisdom. And on the Blue Alliance, who do we have? Fallacy in Nator. We've got... Nope, that's completely wrong. That's the wrong thing. It's this one. I might mess up a couple times, but I will always try to fix it. And of course, if you see that I'm making an issue, then please tell me that I'm making an issue. Fishy Fish, Riverhawk, and Whiteout. Fishy Fish, Riverhawk, and Whiteout. Riverhawk and Whiteout. Right, let's just make sure that that's correct. We've got on the Red Alliance the Skyger Superior L, the Hunt for Red Octopus 2, and Ignorance is Wisdom up against Fishy Fish, Riverhawk, and Whiteout. That is correct. Okay. Let's get this first qualification match started. Alright, so on the Red Alliance, we have... The first ship on the Red Alliance is called Ignorance is Wisdom by Mons. So this is a crystalline ship with... I guess you can call it space armor, but it's so space that it might not even be classified as that. It's got a huge arrays of these antimatter missiles, and that's going to deal a lot of damage. And those missiles fire, like, what, once every 2 seconds? So that's going to, like, swarm everything with a huge amount of missiles. And crystalline missiles do a very large amounts of damage and have some of the longest range in the game for homing missiles, so that's going to be quite dangerous. And also there's a couple of plasma condensers, max scale plasma condensers that is, and those are also quite reliable and dangerous weapons. So yeah, this is Ignorance is Wisdom by Mons. Over here on the Red Alliance we have the Skyger Superior L. So this is one of Laps's Galaxy Center Defenders ships. It is not green and dark whatever colors it is. It is now bright red. And I haven't taken too hard of a look at it because it was submitted rather close to the tournament deadline. But it looks like it's got a lot of plasma cannons, which will do a lot of damage. It's also got a nice little missile array, some burst lasers, and other rather, I guess, reliable weapons. So, yeah, this thing should be, for one thing, it looks really cool. I really like how it looks. So this thing should be pretty fun to watch. Anyway, over here, the final ship on the Red Alliance is an actual red. It is called the Hunt for Red Octopus. I'm going to pronounce it like that. And this is a red ship. It's got a lot of Tempests. It's also got a lot of thrusters. And it's got a lot of generators. I think those are generators. They are generators. It's also got a few lasers in there. Interesting. So, lasers and phasers as well. So this, like, what is it? Yeah, Tempests are pretty good weapons. They have like 22.2 damage per second per unit cost. Well, that's a little different now because of the standardized factions mod, but still, it's even greater for the standardized factions mod. But it's going to deal a terrifyingly high amount of damage per second. So this will be quite interesting. But of course, it's red, and red likes to die very quickly. So anyway, that's the Red Alliance. Now on the Blue Alliance, our first ship on the Blue Alliance is called Fishy Fish by Ludo. So this is a crystalline ship. It's got a lot of max scale plasma condensers on there, and those those do a terrifyingly large amount of damage. It also has a sizable amount of forward thrust, and it also has some plasma diffractors up there in the front, but a sizable amount of forward thrust, which will allow it to move relatively quickly for a crystalline ship, that is, and also has a very large amount of armor. I'm a little concerned about its core placement though, because it's quite close to the edges, so we'll see what happens with it. It also looks kind of fun. I like kind of the spiky Penrose look there. Anyway, yeah, so that's Fishy Fish. Wait a second. Nice. Oops. Anyway, so that is Fishy Fish by Ludo. Over here, our next ship on the Blue Alliance is called... What is it called? That's right, it's called Whiteout by Skill. So this is a red ship. It's really bright. I need to change that later. But this is Whiteout. It's got a lot of tempests. A huge amount of tempests, and I guess supposedly when it fires them, it turns the screen white in the tempest's range. So that's pretty cool. It's got a lot of the red laser drones as well, and right, because red get to bring like, what is it? A lot more P to the field because of the standardized factions mod. It's really, this thing should be pretty fun to watch, and it might do a little better than Arctic Wind did last time, which was his last submission. So yeah, this is, what's it called? I'm gonna have to remember all of these ship names, and I'm not very good at doing that. It's called Whiteout, and yeah, this is called Riverhawk by Splinter. This is one of Splinter's last-minute submissions, and from what it looks like, it is a Tinkerel ship with a very large amount of range amplifiers. It's got a relatively small amount of damage amplifiers, and I don't really know how to quantify range amplifier, velocity amplifiers as much, but it doesn't look like it's like exceedingly large, but I mean, it will have a lot of velocity from those range amplifiers. So that should be pretty interesting to watch. It's got a thrust arrangement like that. It's got a few shields, and it's got a couple of the drones. And so yeah, so relatively standard Tinkerel formula. So this should be... we never really got a Tinkerel in this tournament. We didn't get one last time, so we'll see how this thing... We'll see what happens with this thing. Anyway, okay. It looks like we're ready to start qualification match number 1. So let's get this going. Very large amounts of velocity coming off of Riverhawk, but the Red October is just completely dissolved by Whiteout, and so is the GCD ship. Oh, but looks like Ignorance's Wisdom is taking out Whiteout. Uh-oh, Fishy Fish is exposing his weaker side to the enemy. And with all those plasma condensers, I don't really see how all those missiles can actually penetrate it, even though it is a relatively large amount of missiles. You have a very long range. But yeah, right down to the core. So yeah, the Blue Alliance takes match number 1. Qualification match number 1. Let's take a look at the match schedule. And I am assuming you can see this, right? Yes. Yeah, some matches go fast, some go slow, and then everyone in the playoffs is really slow. So now we go over here to qualification match number 1. You get underlined. The Red Alliance was all destroyed, but the Blue Alliance managed to win and destroy everyone else. So, but this also means that only 2 ships on the Blue Alliance survived, and Whiteout has what? Whiteout has perished. Alright, so that is qualification match number 1. Let's take a look at the ship ranks. Let's recalculate this sheet, because that's not correct at all. You got a recalculator? And now we wait. Alright, let's sort this thing. Okay, come on, stop. Nope, not gonna sort that. Stop, please. Okay, here we go. Sort. We're gonna sort by ranking score first, then total ranking points, and then, yeah, okay. Well, there we have it. So we currently, yeah, so that's the first qualification match. And so this is not a very good representation of how the rankings will end up, but currently Fishy Fish is ranked first, followed by Riverhawk, then Whiteout, and Ignorance is Wisdom. And notice I added the new columns, wins by destruction, wins on points, and losses, and survival rate. So yeah, there we go. That is qualification match number 1, and now let's get ready for qualification match number 2.